Hey guys, it's TTL back with another video for you, and I've been lucky enough to get this white DDR5 Dominator Platinum memory kit in. But its arrival kind of left me with more questions than it did answers. Yeah, okay, I wanted to see what the performance was like of its 5600 megahertz abilities, but then also, are we going to be getting more DDR5? Because if they're now making white stuff, when in reality, they're going to probably sell 10 to 1 more black than they do white. It gave me a little bit of hope. So get yourself comfortable. We're going to have a good look around this sexy kit, look at the performance, and then also chat about DDR5 availability. So yes, many questions did need to be asked because DDR5 has been very sparse, and that's mainly because the majority of the stock that has been landing for all the brands has been going to SIs, system integrators, where they build PCs. And that's so that with the new stuff they can actually build PCs, which meant the custom market, as in us at home that build them ourselves, got a little bit less, or a lot less. But I did ask the question, is the white SKUs appearing, meaning that there is more availability and there's going to be more production? And apparently that is what's happening. 2022, early 2022, you're going to get a reasonably better supply for around the January time, but by the end of Q1 they're hoping to have a decent enough amount of it so that it's not going to be a lottery. Also, what I can say is I've started getting kits from other brands as well, because there is now more availability. Now, it's not necessarily availability with the brands that matters. It ticks back into, can they actually get the memory ICs themselves? And then that floods out because they put a few through, and then a lot will go out to sales, and then a few go out to marketing, and then obviously that is where I end up getting my stuff from, because they're press samples. So, a little bit of insight in what's going on in the background, but the sight of white DIMMs is good in a very good way for both you guys and me. Me, because I think that they're absolutely amazing, but for you, because that means that even if you don't like these, then you want to keep your eyes on the shops and the stores, because more is going to be coming. But on point, 5600 megahertz, 32 gigabyte kit, 2x 16 gigabyte, DDR5 white Dominator Platinums, and oh my days, do they look good. Now, I actually have the DDR4 versions of these in the rig that sits on my desk on a daily basis. So the arrival of these was quite a sight for me, because then it means, probably in this combo with the ROG formula, that I'm going to upgrade, and I don't do it very often. So I think I might deserve a treat, or maybe I don't, you tell me, because I've been slack. But I have to say that when you have a look down the sides, you can see that there is some very, very nice gold touches. Now, I'll be honest, I don't like the gold. I never have done. That's normally the bit that I change, or I mod, or I take them apart and I sort those bits out. If you like the gold, then you're both going to be kind of grateful, but also disappointed, because when it's in your system, you can't really see it. You kind of always have to kind of get your head round to have a look. I do think that the gold, in some cases, works well with the white. But once you turn it on, again, you can't see it. So it does, weirdly, the gold looks better when it's off. As soon as you start putting colours on it, it disappears as well. Now, colours. You can see in the pics and in the B-roll that I have them lit up white. Now, that actually took me a little bit of messing around to get to. Now, that is because you need to go into the Asus BIOS. I've not tested them on any other motherboards yet, but you need to go into the extreme tweaker section. Then down the bottom, there's a thing for SPD write. And it says true, and you need to set it to disable. Once you've done that and you reboot, you'll actually be able to see it in iCUE, because some of you may, with one of the newer boards, go in and then not actually see the memory in iCUE, and that's the problem. You just need to disable that. It's something that Corsair and the motherboard manufacturers are working on. Once I'd messed around with it and found it, because there's no it's there, I went hunting, I found it, switched it off, then I could change the colours. And obviously I set it to white. White kit, white colours. If you set it to kind of like, the RGB side of it is nice because they're capital X LEDs and they are very bright. I can't help but think though that you'd end up just tying it into the rest of your system. So it doesn't matter whether I say that the reds look good or bad or whatever, because if you've got everything else set up, you're just going to do it yourself. Now, performance-wise, it's kind of... I've tested the 5200 megahertz kit from Corsair, and they're in black, and I can see them from here, and it's... Can you tell I cut it then? So, DDR5 at the moment is a bit of a kind of a sore subject. Maybe not a sore subject, but a difficult one, because at the end of the day, the performance over DDR4 isn't that great, if there is any at all. And in some stuff, they actually run worse because of the latency differences, because the latency is significantly higher compared to DDR4. Some of the mega super high-end kits are now starting to show a glimmer of hope in that they are giving us performance benefits, but at a cost. Kind of brings negative, because they cost a fortune. So it's kind of a difficult sell. These sit in that middle ground, and we are kind of in the territory where, if you compare it to when AMD first went PCI Express 4 and DDR4 and all of that sort of stuff, that's kind of where we are with this. You're kind of investing in a technology that we're not really seeing any benefits from yet, but once the games developers and benchmark developers and app developers actually start utilising this and using that bandwidth, you could say the future's bright, but you're kind of never going to know. So with these, they look pretty, the specs look good, but in the graphs and in the data, they're not the fastest thing since sliced bread yet. But they kind of sit in a nice middle ground kind of point. But where it is very early days, these are the things that are going to take a while for the graphs to mature, for me to do more tests, test more kits. And I have more kits, and I will get to more kits definitely in the new year. We've got some other older Lake-based stuff to do first, and then more graphics cards and stuff as well, because I can see them. So there is plenty more coming. But Dominator Platinum. Extreme aesthetics, I'm going to give them that just because at the end of the day, they're white and I love them, and I will be using them in this board in my own rig in probably a couple of times. I think I'm going to end up having to do like a generic build, and then I'll do the old school, this is TTL's version, where I break all the rules and put my stuff in it rather than the stuff they want me to put in it, because that happens quite a lot where you're like, oh no, you have to use a single brand and you can't use that, and I'm just like, no, I'm going to do it my way now. So that, my friends, is coming. This is also the last video I'm going to be uploading of 2021. We're going to have some subscriber videos coming up for 2022 as I try to find my feet and get back to where I was a few years ago. So keep your eyeballs peeled for that. There is a list a mile long of stuff that I do need to do in the first Q1 of 2022 as well, both reviews and stuff that I personally want to crack on and get done as well. So keep your eyeballs peeled for that. Socials will be kicking up. Let's get things flowing again. But for now, thank you very much for tuning in. Beautiful memory kit from Corsair. Only time's going to tell if the manufacturers and all of that sort of stuff utilise the bandwidth available. But yes, love it or loathe it, they're now available in white.